So I'm going to read out A Winter's Tale by Dylan Thomas, and it's from 1945. It is a winter's tale that the snow-blind twilight ferries over the lake, and floats fields from the farm in the cup of veils, gliding windless through the hand-folded flakes, the pale breath of cattle in a steady sail, and the stars falling cold, and the smell of hay in the snow, and the far owl, horning among the flocks in the frozen hold, flocked with sheep white smoke of the farmhouse cowl, in the river wedded vales where the tale was told. Once when the world was turned old, and in a star of faith pure as the drifting bread, as the food and flames of the snow, a man unrolled the scrolls of fire that burned in his heart and head. Torn and alone in a farmhouse in a fold of fields of burning then, in his firelit island ringed by the winged snow, and the dung heaps white as wool, and the hen roosts sleeping chill till the flame of the cock crow combs through the mantle yards, and the morning men stumble out with their spades, the cattle stirring, the mouse-cat stepping shyly, the puff-birds hopping and hunting, the milkmaids gentle in their clogs o'er the fallen sky, and all the woken farm in its white trades. He knelt, he wept, he prayed, by the spit and the black pot in the log-bright light, and the cut bread in the dancing shade. In the muffled house, in the quick of night, at the point of love forsaken and afraid, he knelt on the cold stones, he wept from the crest of grief, he prayed to the made sky, may his hunger go howling on a bare white bones, past the statues of the stables and the sky-roofed sties, and the duck-pond glass and the blinding byres alone, into the home of prayers and fires where he should prowl down the cloud of his snow-blind love and rush in the white layers. His naked need struck him howling and bowed, though no sound flowed down the hand-folded air, but only the wind strung hunger of birds in the fields of the bread of water tossed in a high corn, and the harvest melting on their tongues. And his nameless need bound him burning and lost, when cold as snow he run the wedded vales among the rivers mounded in night, and drowned in the drifts of his need, and lay killed, caught in the always desiring centre of the white inhuman cradle, and the bride bed forever sought by the believer lost and the hurled outcasts of light. Deliver him, he cried, by losing him all in love and cast as need, alone and naked in the engulfing bride, never to flourish in the fields of the white seed or flower under the time dying flesh astride. Listen, the minstrels sing, and in the departed villages a nightingale, dust in the buried wood, flies on the grains of her wings, and spells of the winds of the dead his winter's tale, the voice of dust from the water from the withered spring is telling. The wizard stream with bells and braying water bounds, the dew rings on the gristled leaves, and the long gone glisten parish of snow. The carved mouse in rock, a wind swept strings. Time sings through the intricately dead snowdrop. Listen. It was a hand or sound in the long ago land that glided the dark door wide, and there outside on the bread of the ground she-bird rose and raved like a burning bride, and a she-bird dawned, and her breast with snow and scarlet downed. Look, and the dancers move on the departed snow bush green, wanton in moonlight as the dust of pigeons exulting the grave hooved. Horses, sentry or dead, turn and tread the drenched white paddocks in the farm of birds. The dead oak walks for love. The carved limbs in the rock leap as to trumpets. The calligraphy of the old leaves is dancing. Lines of age on the stones weave in a flock, And the harp-shaped voice of the water's dust plucks in a fold of fields, for love, the long ago she-bird rises, look. And the wild wings were raised above her folded head, and the soft feathered voice was flying through the house as though the she-bird praised. And all the elements of the snowfall rejoiced, that a man knelt alone in the cup of the vales. In the mantle and calm, by the spit of the black pot in the log burnt bright, and the sky of birds and the plumed voice charmed him up, and he ran like a wind after the kindling flight, past the blind barns and the byres of the windless farm. In the poles of the year, when the blackbirds died like priests in the cloaked hedgerow, and over the cloth of countries the far hills rode near, and under the leaved trees ran a scarecrow of snow, and fast through the drifts of the thickets antlered like deer, rags and prayers down the knee, deep hillocks and loud on the numbed lakes. All night lost and long waded in the wake of the she-bird through times and lands and tribes of the snowflakes. Listen, and look where she sails the goose-plucked sea. The sky, the bird, the bride, the cloud, the need, the planted stars, the joy beyond, the fields of seed and time dying flesh astride. The heavens, the heaven, the grave, the burning front. In the far ago land the door of his death glided wide, and the bird descended. On a bread-white hill over the cupped farm, and the lakes and the floating fields and the river wedded, vales where he prayed to come to the last harm, and the home of prayers and fires, the tale ended. The dancing perishes on the white, no longer growing green, and the minstrel dead. The singing breaks in the snow-shoed villages of wishes, that once cut the figures of birds on the deep red, and over the glazed lakes skated the shapes of fishes, flying. The rite is shorn of nightingale and century-old dead horse. The springs wither back, lines of age sleep on the stones till trumpeting dawn. Exultation lies down, time buries the spring weather that bellied and bounded with a fossil and the dew reborn. For the bird lay bedded in a core of wings, as though she slept or died, and the wings glided wide, and he was hymned and wedded, and through the thighs of the engulfing bride, the woman breasted and heaven-headed, bird he was brought low, burning in the bride bed of love, in the whirl of pool at the wanting centre, in the folds of paradise, in a spun bird of the world, and she rose with him, flowering in her melted snow. And that's the end of the book.